Most people believe the midlife crisis is just about buying a sports car or changing careers. But Carl Jung saw something deeper, more ancient and more powerful. He believed that the midlife crisis was not a crisis at all, but a moment of profound awakening. It is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough, a call from the soul to realign with our deeper self and to begin a new journey, not outward but inward, a journey that redefines the second half of our lives, and if ignored, it can lead to depression, anxiety, regret, and the slow decay of meaning. Jung once said, "We cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. For what was great in the morning will be little at evening, and what in the morning was true will at evening have become a lie." This is one of the most important truths ever spoken about human life, and yet most people never hear it. The first half of our lives is focused on building the ego, constructing a sense of self, finding status, career, love, family identity. We spend decades trying to become someone, but the second half asks something entirely different. It asks, who are you really, and what is your soul asking of you? Now, Carl Jung introduced the idea of individuation, a process of becoming whole, a journey where the conscious self integrates with the unconscious, the parts of us we ignored, buried, or denied. This process often begins during the midlife crisis, when everything we built no longer feels like enough, when success becomes hollow, when achievements feel disconnected, when routine turns into restlessness. The ego begins to crack, and from that crack, the soul whispers. Jung wrote thoroughly unprepared. We take the step into the afternoon of life. Worse still, we take this step with the false presupposition that our truths and our ideals will serve us as hitherto. But we cannot live the afternoon of life with the same formula as the morning. This moment of reckoning, the midlife crisis, is not a flaw in the human experience. It is a feature. This is the moment when the outer world loses its grip and the inner world begins to rise, when the question is no longer, what do I do, but who am I, when life demands not more effort, but more meaning. The danger comes when we resist this call, when we numb ourselves with distractions, purchases, affairs, status, symbols, or social validation. When we try to silence the soul with the noise of the world, but the voice only grows louder. Jung believed that what we call midlife crisis is actually the soul attempting to bring balance to a life lived too far in the material, too far in the ego, too far from the true self. You may notice that the second half of life feels like a return, not a discovery, a return to something ancient within you, something you felt as a child, but could not name, a wisdom, an intuition, a calling that pulls you away from the external and towards the eternal. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and this process is not a straight line, it is a spiral, a dance between who we think we are and who we are meant to be. As we enter this spiral, we begin to meet the shadow, the part of ourselves that holds our anger, our shame, our fears, and our wounds. Jung called the shadow the thing a person has no wish to be, and yet confronting it is essential to becoming whole. We cannot reach the light without facing the dark. In midlife, the mask begins to slip. The persona we wore to fit in, to succeed, to be accepted, begins to feel heavy, inauthentic, draining. We find ourselves asking, what have I been hiding from and why? This confrontation is sacred and terrifying, but it is the key to transformation, because in that shadow lies not only pain, but power. Midlife is not about giving up youth. It is about stepping into depth. It is about dropping the act and embracing the truth. It is about leaving behind the map society gave us and creating our own compass. Jung stated, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." This awakening often comes with grief. Grief over who we pretended to be, grief over time lost, grief over the life we thought we wanted. But that grief is necessary. It creates space for the new, for the real, for the sacred. The midlife crisis is the call to begin living authentically, not for others, but for the soul. It is a chance to leave behind the fragmented self and pursue integration. And here's something important. Jung believed that this journey was not a luxury, it was a necessity. Those who do not answer this call may find themselves in depression, addiction, anxiety, or chronic dissatisfaction. The soul will not be silenced forever. As you watch this, ask yourself, where am I in this process? Have I begun to hear the call? Have I started to feel the restlessness, the subtle grief, the desire for something deeper? And if this resonates with you, let us know in the comments what part of this message speaks to you. Most your reflections might help someone else on their journey. Because we are not alone in this. We are all walking different versions of the same path. The path from ego to essence, from mask to meaning, from identity to soul. Jung believed that the second half of life held the potential for profound spiritual rebirth, not religious in the dogmatic sense, but spiritual, as in reconnection with the deep inner self. He believed that this was the only true antidote to the sense of emptiness that plagues modern life. We live in a world obsessed with youth, with beginnings, with ambition, but we ignore the gold hidden in maturity, in wisdom, in letting go. He said, life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. What he meant is that everything before midlife is rehearsal, and everything after is the real work, not the work of status, but the work of soul, not the work of success, but the work of wholeness. And this is not about retreating from life, it is about stepping into it more deeply. It is about realigning your life with your values. It is about choosing presence over performance. You might notice a shift in your values during this time. What once excited you may now feel empty. What once felt urgent may now feel trivial. What once felt like the goal may now feel like a distraction. This is not failure. This is evolution. This is the soul saying it is time to grow. Midlife can be lonely because not everyone will understand your transformation. People may question your changes, your choices, your shift in priorities, but this solitude is part of the process. Jung called it the loneliness of individuation, the price we pay for authenticity. But he also said that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, and that is the goal of this path. To stop performing, to stop pretending, to stop running. The world may not celebrate this journey, but your soul will. This is not a crisis. This is a rite of passage, and the more you embrace it, the more alive you become, the more aligned, the more awake. And slowly, the inner world becomes more vibrant than the outer, the soul becomes louder than the ego, and peace begins to replace panic. Jung never promised this path would be easy, but he did promise it would be worth it. So, wherever you are in your life, whether you are entering this phase, living through it, or still on the edge, remember this. The call to awakening may come in the form of crisis, but it carries the gift of rebirth. Answer it, and you will find not just yourself, but your soul. you will find that the second half of life can be the most meaningful, not despite the pain, but because of it. You will find that life was never meant to be a straight line, but a deep spiral inward. You will find that the greatest adventure is not out there, but in here, and you will discover that what you are seeking is already within you, waiting for you to turn inward and remember. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." If this message resonated with you, if it stirred something within, if it helped you see your path a little more clearly, please consider subscribing for more insights like this. Together, let's keep exploring the hidden depths of the mind, the soul, and the human experience. Because the journey is not over, it's just beginning.